Welcome, filmmakers. In this video, I am going to discuss exactly how private investors look at the potential profitability for your film, and therefore how you'll be able to convince private investors to invest in your specific project. So let's dive straight in. How do private investors look at the return on their investment, and how do they calculate the potential profitability of your film? Well, first of all, we're going to need to take a look at the fact that your profit is essentially your gross revenue divided by all costs minus soft funding. And you have to look at all three elements, which very few filmmakers look at really in depth. So let's start off with the gross revenue, which is essentially going to be your sales projections. Now, these sales projections can first of all be done by producers such as yourself. The best way to do that is to look at films that are very similar to yours in terms of the budget, in terms of the genre, and in terms of everything else within that film. Look at a few other films and take their average gross sales from all the sales that they've made, including in theaters, in cinemas, DVD, online, and so on. And then 100% of that is going to be your medium sales projection, 50% of that is going to be the low sales projection, and 200% of that is going to be your high sales projections. Now, you can also have sales agents do that. This tends to be the preferred option for most private investors because if it is a sales agent with a good reputation, they know they can trust those figures. And there are also a ton of different online platforms such as Slated, where you can also find your sales projections. Now, these always will be estimates. They will just be projections, but they will give you a good idea of exactly how much your film could potentially make, which is something that private investors definitely want to see. Now, on top of that, you're going to need to look at your costs, and that is essentially your entire budget. And here you have your production budget. So you'll need to take a look at exactly how much you're spending on locations, on actors, on crew, on cast, and on everything else to do with your film, including post-production and so on. You will then need to look at all of your distribution and marketing costs. How much will you be paying sales agents, distributors? How much will you be paying in the printing and advertising costs and everything else that comes with distribution? That is an absolutely key metric that you also need to know because it will affect how much money you will actually make. And then finally, if you are going to be making any payments for banks, if you've taken out debt to cover, for example, your tax credit or cash flow, any other payments, you're also going to need to look at the interest payments on those and add those into your calculations. Now, one of the hardest jobs as a producer is to balance costs with sales projections to increase profitability, because it's very simple to say, well, if I can just get this actor on board, I will make more money. But will you actually make your film more profitable? Bringing on board a known actor is an extremely high cost and is very risky. So you need to actually be able to calculate, will this actor that I'm going to be paying, for example, $1 million, bring me at least $3 million in sales? Because that's roughly what you'll need in order to break even on that actor. So you always need to not only think about what will make the film the most money, but what will make the film the most profitable. And then you're going to need to take a look at the above the line costs and the below the line costs. With the above the line cost, this will be your key cast, director, producer. These tend to be the costs that fluctuate the most from one production to another. So you have a choice over here as to how much you're going to spend. You can spend a couple $1,000s on the above the line costs, or you can spend a couple $1 million on the above the line costs. There is no right or wrong. It all depends on how these above the line costs actually make your sales projections go up or down. So you really need to take a look whether every single cost over here is justified, because every single additional cost in the above the line of your budget needs to make sure that it brings at least 3x that amount in sales projections. Then you have the below the line costs, where you are trying to keep them as low as you possibly can. So you need to make sure that anything that you can get for free, you're getting for free. Everything that you're getting for the best possible price. You're going to want to make sure that you have the least amount of shooting locations that you can to try and avoid travel costs and location costs. But below the line costs, you should keep as low as you possibly can, as long as it doesn't have a negative impact on your production value or on the health and safety of the production. And then you're going to want to also look at all the soft funding. The soft funding is money that you will not need to pay back at the end of your production. So if you're taking money from a private investor, you will need to pay that back, and you will need to pay that back along with a positive return on their investment. On the other hand, soft funding is money that you do not need to pay back. Therefore, it is essentially free money, and you should be utilizing that as much as you possibly can. So here you're going to want to take a look at the tax credits. Nearly every single country and region offers some sort of film tax incentives. So you're going to want to take a look at what tax credits are available within your country or region. You're also going to want to look at any grants and funds. Now, these do tend to be extremely competitive when you're looking at the national grants, but there are many grants and funds that are offered by smaller regions, for example, from deprived areas, where they will actually give you money or potentially resources to shoot in those deprived areas. There are so many of those grants, you just need to research them. Crowdfunding is also a great source of soft funding, because although you need to deliver certain rewards and perks to your backers, they're not expecting a return on their investment, meaning anything that you raise through crowdfunding will de-risk your private investors, as it will be less money that you will need to raise through equity. You're also going to want to look at in-kind support. So you should be trying to get as many things as you possibly can for free. Even if you are making a film with a $1 million budget, that film is still a low budget film. You are still on essentially a shoestring budget, and you should still be trying to get everything you possibly can for free. If not for free, in exchange for placement in your film and in exchange for marketing for your film, which is essentially product placement. So can you get a great deal with an equipment hire company and place their cameras in your film? Can you get a great deal with, a catering company, as long as you include their logo and their credits in the final credits of the film? Can you, get a deal with, a grocery store to get you the food for your entire cast and crew for the shoot, in exchange for having that Tesco's, grocery store be featured in film? So take a look at any product placement options that you can add into your film. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please smash that like and subscribe button, and I hope to see you at another video.